Welcome, SlackerCubed here. Today we're going to look at 3 designs for automatic trash compactors, including 2 with safety buttons. If you do want to jump right to one of those designs, I will put the timestamps in the description below. Otherwise, stick around. Alright, the first design we're going to look at today is the simple automatic trash compactor. This one does not include the safety button, but this one is the easiest of the bunch to build. With this one, I'm not going to do a step-by-step just because of how simple it is. But yeah, if you do want to build this, you can take a screenshot right here. You'll see all the items you'll need to build it in my hotbar below, but I will get into a little more detail here. You'll see 10 blocks of red wool, and that's just because the redstone will go on to 9 of those blocks, and then it powers a 10th block for this automatic dropper. And if you do want to get a little more detail on how these 3 circuits I use today work, I do have a tutorial that goes more in depth on the automatic droppers and dispensers, and you'll see a link to that in the upper right hand corner. And then I also did use a trap chest. The advantage of the trap chest is if you do throw something in there that you don't want to see dumped into lava, it won't let the hopper pull any items out until you close the chest. And then you'll see that working right there. Yeah, that's fed through a hopper into a dropper facing downwards. And in my case, I like to use lava. You also could use a cactus. If you use a cactus, you can't put any blocks next to it, so you'd have to make this wider. Although you do have to be a little careful using lava. Yeah, you don't want to put anything flammable within this 3x3 and 4 tall. You certainly wouldn't want to see your house go up in flames. But yeah, you can see a little more detail about how that works on the wiki. But you'll see here I've got 3 air blocks above that lava. And then I like to encase it in glass. That way if you are doing some remodeling or some digging, you won't accidentally start yourself on fire. That's certainly no fun. But yeah, that is all there is to that design. Next, we're going to look at a trash compactor with a safety button. I actually find myself building this quite often in my survival world. That looks complicated, but really there's not too much to it, and of course we'll get into it step by step. Basically, we've got the red wool circuit there. That is our automatic dropper. We've got the orange wool, which is just a redstone line from our button into this yellow wool circuit. And this just releases all the items from the chest into the automatic dropper to be disposed of. Yeah, let's give it a go. And then with this one, you could also put this at the end of like an item sorter. So that way, after the items are sorted, you can check to make sure there's nothing in there important, and then toss all of the extra items. But yeah, that's this thing working here. Well, let's get down to the fun part. Let's build it. I've got all the items you'll need in my hotbar below. I already put some glass in place just to get things started. Basically, we're going to put our lava at the bottom. And like I said, I like to surround it with glass so I don't wind up throwing myself in the lava. That's always exciting. And then we are going to put 3 air blocks between that and a dropper facing downwards. And I just put a temporary block there to get that dropper facing the right direction. Then we are going to do 3 hoppers into the side of that dropper, and then our input chest on top. So that's the start of it there. Next, we're going to get into the circuits. We're going to start out with the automatic dropper. So for that, we are going to use a comparator, pulling a signal out of that dropper. We're going to send that signal into a block, and you can use any block for this. I'm just using the wool myself. We're going to use a repeater to pull a signal out of that, and then we are going to run that signal into the side of the comparator. And then we're going to need a block on top of the comparator, and this is actually what's going to power the dropper. So this is a bud-powered automatic dropper here, and again, I've got a tutorial if you want to learn more about that. Next, we are going to put in the button. And you can put this button wherever you'd like. You can use stone or wood for the button. You just ultimately need to run a redstone line from that button into the side of this yellow circuit. So let's put down the redstone there. And then let's get to work on this yellow circuit. So, for this, we are going to put a piece of redstone on top of that red wool, and that's just going to keep this thing active as long as that dropper is working. And then we're going to use a repeater to pull the signal off of that. We're going to meet it up with our signal from our button, and then we're going to add a little bit of a delay just to make sure everything flows out of the system before this turns off. So you'll put two comparators facing like this, and that just adds a little bit of a delay with this redstone here. Then we're going to run that into a block. And then we're going to put a piece of redstone on this. And then that piece of redstone is going to power another block with that redstone torch on it. And then that redstone torch is going to power this block, which is going to keep any items from leaving that chest until this torch is turned off. And so that's what this circuit does here, is this circuit powers this block to turn off the torch. And like I said, it's just to make sure that that stays open until all of the items flow out. So yeah, hopefully you're able to follow along. Let's give this one a go. And there we go. And then the third design is our super fast trash compactor with safety button. This one runs about twice as fast as the last one. This one does use the observers and the sticky piston for the quicker dropper, but it does require the double chest in order to feed the items quick enough to make that worthwhile. I really don't find myself building this one too often. It can really pay off if you've got a spawner and you're collecting a lot of extra items, so you want to be able to check to see if there's anything useful in there before you throw everything away. And then it's a little bit noisier. You got the piston at the beginning and the end, and uses a few more resources, so I wouldn't build it unless you need it. Yeah, but it is good and quick. But yeah, let's get to work here. Again, I've got all the items you'll need in my hotbar below, except the lava, which I've already put in place, and of course you'll need a button. So we've got the, again, 3 air blocks between the lava and the dropper facing downwards. And then we're going to have a bit of a mess of hoppers leading into that. So we're going to have a hopper leading into the front of that dropper, around to the side. And then we're going to have the second line just leading right into the side of that. I've got the arrows on those to help you see where stuff's going. And then we've got the double chest on top there. And that's the start of it. Next, we'll build that automatic dropper. And grab my blocks real quick. Okay, so again, we've got the comparator pulling the signal off of the dropper. That's going to go into a sticky piston. And then on top of that sticky piston will be a observer, I think you call it facing the comparator. At least the face is looking at it. And then the other observer will ultimately wind up facing this observer when it's pushed up by the sticky piston. So that's all there is to it for our automatic dropper. Next, we're going to put in the button and the line from that leading again into the yellow circuit we're going to build. And still, you can use any button for this and put it anywhere. You just need to make a line from that into the side of our next circuit. Whoops. Alright, we'll throw our redstone down on top of that. And then we'll start on our circuit to unlock and lock the chest. Okay. And then with this, when that observer gets pushed up, it's going to send a signal through a repeater. But because that signal's so quick, we're going to need to add 1 tick to that repeater. So ultimately that'll add a 2-tick delay when that observer powers it. We're going to put it into the redstone that the button's leading into. And then again, we're going to add that little bit of a delay to make sure that everything gets through the system before this turns off. And then that again will lead into our block. And the difference here is we're going to have 2 lines coming off this block. We'll have a repeater and a redstone line. So it's going to power both of those. And then that is going to power 2 blocks with the redstone torches on them. And then those redstone torches again are going to power 2 blocks that will keep this chest from allowing anything through until those torches are turned off. So yeah, just a little variation compared to the last one we built. And like I said, one of the key things to remember is you'll need that extra tick delay on this one repeater coming off the observer. Otherwise, that is all there is to it. We'll give this thing a try. All right. Yeah, and hopefully one or more of these will pay off for you like they have for me. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, or at least got a kick out of it, don't forget to leave a like. And if you have any suggestions for improvements, don't be afraid to leave them in the comments section below. We'll see you in the next one. Later.